see yourself across the field. What was that like?
They,
play cards.
yeah, they'd give me a heads up. They had something planned. I didn't know what it was. And, yeah, those were interesting. I don't know which pictures were good and not, and which one I'd approve, but they had a little fun with it. I think I'm told I'm going to get them sent my way. So if I ever get them, maybe I'll bring them in here. We can all have a good laugh.
It did seem like the plays worked.
Did they work or not?
One was on 4th and.
I thought the touchdown they scored was one of those.
I don't know. I think 4th down was one of them.
Yeah, I have no idea. Those guys think they're funny guys. So. They especially want to put the one me slipping and falling.
Yeah.
As long as you can remember that, be good.
Rhett, what'd you see on video of how the team played?
Yeah, we tried to, we held some guys, and we tried to, be pretty simple and, try to play some other guys. And so, once they kind of scored, our guys responded well, and I think we scored 24 straight in back 4 drives. So that was good, and at the end of the day, we were able to send the seniors out with a win, and now we can move on to this one this week.
Rhett, as a coach, what's it like to be part of the Iron Bowl?
Whew. I mean, if you've never been in one or a part of one, or at least attended one, you really can't appreciate it. You don't understand it. I've been able to coach in 3 of them, and all 3 have gone down to the wire, to a last second drive or minute drive by somebody just about. And, there's an energy in the Iron Bowl that's different than really any other game. It's very comparable to an SEC championship or a national championship game. And, a lot of these guys grew up playing against each other, with each other, so there's a lot of pride, and both teams always play extremely hard, and there's a lot on the line. So this year will be no different.
When you guys see the kick 6 replayed over and over again throughout the season, you're going to see it more this week. Do you almost want that to be blocked out of kids' minds in a week like this, so they're not thinking about last year?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to bring it up or talk about it because it can't help us this year. I mean, it's one of those things that you got to deal with. Both sides got to deal with it because it's just kind of part of what comes with the week. Just normal distractions and things that are out there. But I don't think it'll bother our guys. That was last year, and this year's completely different, and we're going to have to play even better this year.
Is it at all concerning that the game, for the Georgia game leading into through the first quarter last night, you guys offensively hadn't scored in 79 minutes. Nick's stats over that time were quite poor, and you have players come out after and say, yeah, they kind of needed Samford to score to kind of wake up. Is it at all concerning that here it is, it's game 11 after 2 very tough losses, to still have some of these emotional things going on?
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, hey, it's a long season. That was game 11. A lot of ups and downs in the season, and our guys did what they needed to do. They responded. Like I said, we tried to do some things, be simple, and play a lot of guys. And a lot of credit goes to Samford. I thought Billy D and that defensive staff had an excellent plan, did a great job, and played hard. But our guys did what they needed to do to win, and now we're able to move forward. So I'm not concerned at all. Feel good about where our guys are at.
Just mentioned that several players really mentioned that they knew what y'all were doing. When did y'all realize that was happening? They were calling your plays and
Probably about the time Cody went to work there. That's part of it. Obviously, that's the offense that when I went there we installed, and so there's a lot of similarities with what they're doing. A lot of those coaches are still there, and vice versa. Obviously, with Cody being here last year, and those guys, running the same system. So there's a lot of similarities. Both defenses see it all the time in practice. So it's kind of one of those things to be expected, and that's just part of the game. And it's just something you got to play through.
Rhett, have you seen any kind of constant theme in the games this year where you guys got off to slow starts offensively, or is it just game to game? It's a different kind of
I don't know about any constant theme, but we're obviously better when we can get some explosive plays, and those explosive plays lead to tempo, and tempo leads to points. And you look back last night when we hit Sammy on the deep ball, that got everything going. And we're no stranger to knowing that. It's just something we got to do a good job of manufacturing those plays and get the tempo going. But I'd say that right now, as long as we don't turn the ball over the first play of the game, it's always a positive, because those 2 times we did that, it didn't go very well.
how do you take Sammy's season so far? He's made some big plays for you, obviously the 49-yarder spark it, but he's also had some inconsistencies, big drops over the middle and stuff like that. So how do you balance what his season?
We've all been inconsistent this year at times. Sammy's probably as healthy now as he's been all year, which is a positive. But he'll be the first to tell you that he puts a lot of pressure on himself. he's made a lot of big plays, and he's going to have to make some more big plays for us, and he's going to have to make the easy plays too. But it's not just Sammy; it's all our guys. And we know this week that we're going to have to play our best game. There's no margin for error in big games, in Iron Bowl. It doesn't matter how the season's gone up to this point. None of that really matters. It's we're going to have to play our best game this week, and I expect our guys to be focused and locked in.
You don't see Nick Marshall get negative yards rushing very often. What was that stuff he was doing? I mean, is there something that he was a little bit off, or?
No, probably a couple times that he should have maybe given the football, or he held the ball a couple times too long and took a sack or two when it was covered. If he'd hit a check down or taken off, and I think he was just trying to make too much happen a couple times. But and then there may have been a few times that someone else didn't do their job properly. But credit to them, they were going to take that away, and other guys stepped up and made the plays, and that's kind of how it went.
There's been a lot of times where everything's clicking, and then there's been times the last couple games where it's not clicking for him. Is his demeanor pretty similar? You like the way he handles kind of adversity?
Yeah, I do, and like I said, I thought he played hard and well against Georgia. Statistically, he didn't, but that wasn't all on him. And then up to then, he's played well most games too. So, sometimes you're hot and you got momentum that way. Sometimes you can get in a little bit of a frustrating rut. It was good to see us break out of that in the middle of the second quarter the other night. But all you can really do is stay the course, and he's done a good job of that.
Are you confident that Duke Williams is going to turn this week?
He's still day to day. We're optimistic. He's getting better. A couple of guys we held, we feel like it was the right decision, and we feel like that's going to help them and increase their chances of playing this week. And we'll just know when we get out there tomorrow and get after it and see kind of where they're at. But we're always optimistic. All those guys will be ready to go.
How does it change things for you when you got Duke on the field?
Well, it changes things a lot when you have someone like him or even Ricardo and those guys out there, because it makes it harder to take people away. They did a good job of doubling Sammy a couple times last night and taking some other things away. So, I thought Quan stepped up and did some good things last night. But, obviously the more weapons you have, the more honest the defense has to play you. And so, we want to be full strength, and we're optimistic we will be.
Right, going back to my previous question, when it comes to slow starts, is that something you can actually even work on in practice? Because obviously you can work on not having turnovers, but is like the slow starts, that's only something you can actually do during a game?
No, I think that just, the kids got to be ready to play. We got to be ready to play. We got to have them ready to play. And, I don't know. There's not, we're going to practice the same, prepare every week just the same. And, hopefully get off to a good start this week.
If Duke's able to go, he's probably going to get matched up with Landon Collins quite a bit. And I know they went at each other in high school and club games and other things. Did you ever, in recruiting him, you ever watch the tape of him going up against Landon?
Not specifically, no. They have some good matchups.
Apparently.
I bet they did. They're two pretty good players. So hopefully we get to see that matchup Saturday.
Talk about Alabama's defense, what they're doing well.
Well, they're doing really well. They're stopping the run, which is something they do very well. They generate good turnovers and negative plays, something they've done a good job of. And they're really good, on third down in the red zone. So, just like they were about this time last year. Very good defense, very well coached, very good players, very sound, very solid. And like I said, we're going to have to play very well.
Mistakes are always important, but facing a defense that doesn't give up a ton of explosive plays, it make it even more important to not to get behind the chains against a team like that.
Yeah, but probably knows more so than has a couple other games this year. We play some really good defenses. You always want to stay ahead of the chains because obviously it limits you when you're behind the chains, and then at the same time you get you in third manageables more often than not. And so it'll be imperative to be really good on just about every play this week, but specifically on early downs to stay ahead and hopefully get some tempo going.
What makes their run defense so good year in and year out?
They do a good job. They got big guys up front that do a good job of fitting their gaps and really hunkering down and letting their linebackers make plays. They do a good job swarming the ball and edging their defense with their back end too. And it's just a really good team defense effort. And I think that's just something that they pride themselves on. They want to take away the run and try to make you one-dimensional. That's kind of their philosophy, and that's something they've done a good job of.
How do you balance work with Thanksgiving and also give the kids some time off to enjoy it? And the extension of that, do you have any of them over to your house on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it's tough to do, especially on a week like this. The best Thanksgiving is one that ends with a good Saturday. But we'll have with them being out of school, that helps. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with them more than we normally would. And then Thursday we'll try to have a meal for them here and then give them some time off if they want to go to families. If they're local or in town, they can. If coaches, we always have some guys over the house, you know, that opportunity, wanna come watch some football or get some pie or whatever, you know. So we try to do a good job of balancing that out, but it's tough. But you know, at the same time, it's kind of good when you have a long week, and then Thursday evening you can let them kind of, you know, decompress a little bit before you get into Friday and Saturday, and you kind of get back at it. So it's you do the best you can.
We know Nick is steady throughout the game, but you see something, obviously his stats seem to be better in the fourth quarter. You see something in his eyes or his approach or whatever that tells you, okay, he's clicking now or something. You see
Yeah,
that?
when the tough moments or the pressure moments come, you usually see a little bit of a change in demeanor. As a coach, you know, you wish they were all that way all the time, but that's also a great character trait he has, that when things are tight or tough or when it's crunch time, you know, he's usually at his best. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the fourth quarter, maybe when you need a big drive or you need something. And yeah, I've noticed there's times you can tell where he's locked in, and if he calls for a play, you need to call it because he feels pretty good about it.
Do you have an example maybe that you could provide?
You know, I don't have one specific off the top of my head. You know, Ole Miss in the second half, I think we scored on 3 straight drives, and you know, he came over and said, "Hey, let's get in this set." And I like a couple things, and we kind of ran with it, and we got the tempo going, and you know, him and those guys executed well. I think the A&M game, we had a timeout. We were going to call one play, and we decided to go with the double move. We threw a touchdown to Quan, and we were going back and forth, and Nick said, "No, call the double move." It was a touchdown. So usually when your quarterback or your guys that you count on feel confident in something, it gives you confidence as a coach to call it.
Brett, you've mentioned what it is to coach in the game, and last year's game, what it means to the players, to the coaches, but what does it mean to the bigger picture of outside of this game, in particular to the recruiting trail, where there's players on both sides who are obviously in-state, who were on one side or the other, and obviously last year there was a lot more with Rashawn and everything for Ruben the year before. Just what does it mean? And you guys obviously have the Kick 6 promotions during Big Cat and all that. Just what does this mean to the bigger picture for these programs on both sides, where you're competing for the same players all the time?
One time, 365 days a year, it's the Iron Bowl. It's Auburn, Alabama. There's a lot of pride involved on both sides. So it means a lot, and it trickles down into everything. It's a big game. And, you know, you could sit up here and act like it's just the same as every other game, but it's not. It's the Iron Bowl. It's a big game. It's at the end of the year, and we want to finish the season well.
Am I good?
Thanks, Brett.